Drive On, your first agricultural television in the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja. I am Hilda Homsem Fatswam, welcoming you to another episode of the program. And today, we are here again. I'm going to be the chef, of course, because I love soup. I always tell you that soup is one of soups in general. It's one of my best meals. I can take soup, just soup and rest. So I go, and I try as much as possible to learn different types of soups. And today, Egusi soup is what I'm craving for, and I said, let me give you another recipe of Egusi soup. Of course, we have different ways of making the soup, but I have another way of preparing it. Don't go anywhere, where I'm going to drive you down and show you my little secret about Egusi soup. Kitchen Drive on your first agricultural television. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Before we went on the break, I told you that today I'm going to be the chef myself. I'm going to make Egusi soup. Okay, it's mostly eaten in Nigeria and of course other parts of the world, and every culture and every nation, state, culture and tradition have their ways of preparing Egusi. I'm just going to also do that, though it's not my own delicacy, but I love the Egusi soup, and I think I just learned this recipe and I felt it's delicious, and I feel I should let you know. So the first thing is for us to on our gas. I'm not frying it. I'm not frying it. I'm adding my water directly. I'm going to add my red oil. I'm going to add my pepper, blended pepper. I had yellow pepper, tatashe, and tarugu into it. Now, these are the combinations of all my protein. I have crayfish, stockfish, pomo, meat. I had already boiled my meat already. My seasoning, onion, and the seasoning again. I want to add fresh curry. I love the fresh, aroma of it. So I'm going to turn it into it. My seasoning is there already. So I'm not going to turn it, I'm going to cover it for a while, let it boil. Let it boil very well so that I will now do the other thing I want to teach how to do it. Kitchen Drive on ARCN TV, and we're making egusi soup. It's a very simple way of making it, and what we had here is our water. I added my red oil, added all the proteins that have been cooked. That is my meat, stockfish, crayfish, dry fish, pomo, and I love paola, so I added paola to it. And of course I used my fresh season, that is curry leaf, to add to it so that it will give me a good aroma and a delicious and yummy aroma. We'll allow it to boil so that it will cook very well. We'll come back right after this short break where I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my egusi soup. Don't go anywhere.
Would you eat synthetic meat? Food production technology has progressed to the point where we are able to create meat analogues derived from soybeans, gluten, and other plant products. Beyond Meat products are readily available in supermarkets as well as some fast food chains like Burger King and Carl's Jr. If this plant-based imitation meat isn't your thing, you can simply get your protein elsewhere. Food cultures around the world have heavily featured plant-based meats such as tofu or falafel for hundreds of years. But synthetic meat is not plant-based. It's meat. Lab-grown, artificially produced meat. Thanks to recent innovations in food production technology, consumers may see lab-grown meat in their supermarket aisles very soon. Numerous companies around the world, such as Upside in the United States and Future Meat in Israel, have been hard at work getting ready to bring their lab-grown cultivated meat to the masses. For the first time, they'll be able to say, no animals were harmed in the making of this meat product.
Real meat, not harming animals.
Instead, workers cultivate small clumps of animal cells in large industrial-grade vats over a period of weeks. During this time, these clumps of cells are grown or cultivated into muscle tissue or meat. Effectively, this means that Upside is able to manufacture real meat in this facility without harming any animals. But how exactly is this done? The first step of this 2 to 8 week process is extracting the cells. After giving an animal a small dose of anesthesia, they extract a small amount of cells from it. These cells are then placed in bioreactors, large steel vats designed for cell culture applications. Inside these vats, scientists can grow tissues or cells far beyond the cellular level. Inside the bioreactor, these cells are fed an oxygen-rich cell culture medium or nutrient broth to further promote their growth. This cell culture medium aims to simulate the environment inside an animal's body and thus contains nutrients such as amino acid, vitamins, and glucose. This nutrient bath encourages the cells to grow normally as they would inside the animal. Eventually, once these cells have multiplied enough, they turn into muscle tissue, or a mass resembling ground meat. To shape the tissue into specific cuts of meat, such as chicken breast or a prime cut of steak, scientists introduce fat cells and connective tissue cells into the culture. This isn't just for show either. The fat cells and connective tissue enhance the cultivated meat's overall flavor. Scientists can even control the nutritional value of the meat by altering the nutrient broth the cells are bathed in during the cultivation process. Despite the massive amounts of progress they've made with their meat manufacturing process, Upside is running into the same problems encountered by the other meat manufacturers of cultivated meat. For one, the business of cultivated meat is expensive. Each state-of-the-art facility required to produce cultivated meat costs millions of dollars to construct and maintain. Couple that with the overall cost of production And you end up with a relatively expensive product that might be a hard sell for some consumers. Thankfully, companies like Future Meat have been able to bring production costs down significantly. Recent reports indicate that each Future Meat chicken breast costs $1.70 to produce. That's in stark contrast to the $330,000 burger patties of the first public tasting of cultivated meats back in 2013. Aside from replicating the nutritional value in real meats, it's also crucial to offer consumers a product that tastes, smells, and feels just like the real thing. Upside has found some success with producing cultivated meats similar in texture and flavor to chicken breasts. Other cultivated meat producers around the world have also made significant headway with their products. For instance, the Tel Aviv-based food tech startup Supermeats hosted a well-publicized taste test for Israeli food journalist Michal Ansky. Despite Ansky's refined palate, she was unable to distinguish between traditionally grown chicken meat and Supermeat's cultivated product. Once the cultivated meat industry takes off, we may finally be able to rein in the increasing environmental cost of feeding our world's population. More than a third of the world's greenhouse gas emissions come from the food production industry, with a large chunk of that attributed to meat production. By offering a cleaner, lab-grown alternative, we may be able to mitigate the growing stress our ballooning global population is placing on the environment. Along the way, we might even be able to get cultivated meat similar in texture and flavor to Wagyu beef. That would be quite the delicious bonus.
We're making egusi soup, and before we went on the break, I told you that we're going to have another recipe of making the soup. Now, what we did was just have our normal water into the pot. We added red oil, added everything you want it to be, except of course the vegetable and the egusi itself. So here right now we have the red oil. We didn't fry it, we didn't bleach it like normal way people do it. We just had the cold water, added red oil to it, added spices, the protein, we had our fresh curry leaf to give it a beautiful aroma, and then we allow it to boil. And right now it's boiling, so allow it to cook at least for 2 to 3 minutes to see, that everything is well cooked here. Meanwhile, we'll come back here with the egusi. Now we're going to have this egusi, and I'm going to add little water to it. I've washed my hands, so I'm just going to add little water to it, as it's boiling. I'm going to mix it. Some people mix it with water, others mix it with oil. So I'm going to add the two. That curry leaf is giving me a beautiful, yummy, aroma. Tell you my cameraman is already smiling. So here I'm going to add a little of my red oil to the mixed egusi. I will mix it all together. Into a paste, Meanwhile, my pot is boiling and it's calling me because the aroma is really, really inviting. So now I have my mixed egusi already here. I'm going to make small, balls out of it that I'm going to drop in the water so that it can give me, this eggy seeds, that special when you just order for your egusi, you will see it. I have it here. I'm going to drop it into my boiled water. Oh, the aroma is really inviting. So I'm dropping it in here. And you see, it's coming up. And you don't stir it, you allow it first. As you can see, it's boiling, and those boils I made are now broken. They are giving it this sticky, eggy shape. But you see that it's not just the soup, it's not just the taste, but the presentation. It determines, your appetite, whether or not you want to actually eat that. So allow this to cook for a while before we add our vegetable to it. Alright, so I'm having, you can see, they're cooking and it's becoming thick. So we'll still allow it to cook for some 2 to 3 minutes. Then we'll add our vegetable to it and allow it to cook well. So let us allow it so that the water can even reduce and the egg will make, the egusi will cook very well. That curry leaf is really, really yummy and it's biting. Ooh. This is really looking good. So here is our washed ugu mixed with bitter leaf. And I'll just use a small spoon to really stir it. Wow. Oh. I don't know if you see what I am doing. Carefully stir it so that it will not burn. You see this? So what we have here is this. We had our normal water, cold water, added it into the pot, ingredient that I wanted it to be in this soup. First, I added my red oil, added my blended pepper, tatasha yellow pepper, and I added my protein. I have here stockfish, crayfish, pala, pomo, and my beef. Covered it for some minutes. When it boiled, when it was cooked, I now mixed my egusi with water to make a paste out of it, and I added red oil to it again to add up to the oil. You can see, you've not even seen it until when the soup is ready. I now made balls out of it, in form of egg, and I dropped it into the bowl and cooked soup and sauce. That is the water on the boiling water on the fire. I now allowed it, I didn't stir it until 15 minutes after. I used a small spoon to mix it carefully so that it will not burn beneath the pot. And then I allowed it again for some 3 to 5 minutes. After which I added my vegetable and I'm now mixing it. Just have a look. And I tell you, I use fresh curry. The aroma is really inviting. And you can see that the soup is coming out. What I intended for it to be is giving me what I want. Kitchen Drive on ARCN TV. Egusi is one of the most eaten soups within and outside Nigeria, and everybody has his or her own recipe of making it. But this is another simple way at which I made it myself, because I love soup. I always tell you that I love soup. And this can be eaten with all kinds of swallow that you want to eat. I'm not really a swallow person, so I can just take this as a main meal. I just eat it. I can eat it with rice, I can eat it with bread. You can just take it as normal meal. You can eat it also with swallow, just name it. So we're going to give it just some 3 to 5 minutes for it to for it to cook well, and of course the water to go down and drain, so you have good and delicious egusi soup. Come back, it's just some minutes and you have a taste of what I'm telling you. And this is, I love what I'm seeing. Keep on stirring it carefully. But of course, if your soup is of large quantity, do not use the small spoon. I'm using it because it's okay for me, that's why. And I'm stirring it often so that it will not burn. So everything is coming. In the next 5 minutes, you can put this down and your soup is ready. So we're back here. This is Kitchen Drive, and today we're making egusi soup, and this is our recipe. You can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I still have little water in it, but it's great since I want it this way because I'm going to eat it as a meal. So let me have a taste of it. Oh. This is good. Everything is accurate. Egusi soup another recipe of making it. We just had our water, added every ingredient we needed it to be in the soup, allow it to cook, mixed our egusi into paste with water and oil, made small eggs shapes into it, and dropped it into the boiling water on the fire. We allowed it for 15 minutes. We added our vegetable and allowed it to cook, and it is delicious. You can try this and enjoy it at any time and for all kinds of swallow that you want. Kitchen Drive on ARCN Television. This is how we wrap it up on today's episode of the program. Keep a date with us next time for another episode of the program where you get to learn new recipe or another added knowledge to the recipe about a meal. Take good care of yourself, eat good food, and stay out of trouble. I am Hilda Homsen Francham saying bye for now, and follow us on our YouTube account for more of our programs. Take care.